Hey guys, how you doing? It's Smart and Cliffe here. It is Tuesday the 7th of April. It's been a while since my last update, and what a strange time it has been. So I've been thinking, as the world is facing very difficult, very uncertain times, did the world need a reset? And I think realistically, if we all are honest about the way our lifestyles were going in the Western world, it probably did, although obviously this is a horrible, horrible way for it to happen. But it certainly, had me thinking about many, many things. I think a lot of us are realizing at this stage that our homes are way too cluttered. If you're in one of the places where you're basically not allowed to leave your home, then I'm sure minimalism is all of a sudden seeming very appealing. But I'm also wondering whether those people who are living in the tiny house movement, or generally just living in very small spaces, are also thinking maybe this wasn't the best idea. Certainly for me, I've been spending, I always spend a lot of time in this room, in my studio, but I've been spending a lot of time in this room, and this room is 5.3 square meters, and it's been starting to feel very small. Now I've been keeping busy. I've been very fortunate. I don't have any work, which is obviously worrying in the long term, but in the short term, that's okay. But I've been keeping busy producing videos, primarily for church. I'm now about to spend, with the exception of Good Friday and Easter Sunday, when I obviously will be focusing on church things to a certain extent. Other than that, I'm going to be spending at least the next week focusing on composing for and arranging for the new Voided Project album, which Dan, Ed, Rob and myself are working on. We're all struggling in our own way with the situation at the moment. Many challenges in life, whether it's having to work at home for the first time or having to work at home with your partner for the first time. It's really tricky. It takes some getting used to. This will really test a lot of people, I think, and it is a trial for us. There's situations going on that are outside our control. At this particular point, we would, in a normal year, have Ed and Jenny visiting us. They were due to come. We would have just returned from a long weekend in Seoul, and that all went completely out the window. That we're okay with. We're saving money, which is good because I'm not earning any. But it does mean that you do feel somewhat isolated sometimes, particularly. The world has definitely been getting smaller over the years until all of a sudden you can't travel, in which case 6,000 miles feels an awfully long way from home. Now I'm doing okay. I'm actually feeling relatively positive at the moment. With the caveat of it's always a balancing act with my mental health, but at the moment, I've been being fairly positive, keeping quite motivated to do stuff that doesn't require a lot of creative thought, I guess. Recording other people's songs and producing videos for them and editing them and stuff, that I can kind of do without having to think too hard about. So that's been good. It's been busy work rather than creative work. But at least it's given me something to do that's helped me not to think too much about the situation going on in the world. And I know, it's always a temptation to check, and I've definitely been guilty of this, check your social media umpteen times a day, check the news sites umpteen times a day, and it doesn't do you any good. By all means, spend 15-20 minutes first thing in the morning and the same in the evening, on your social media. That, I think, is a healthy amount of time to spend on it. Yes, watch or read the news once a day, but if you're finding yourself every hour or two doing that, find something else to distract you, something creative. So for us, we're fortunate that Hong Kong is not locked down to the extent that certain parts of the world are. We have freedom of movement. There are still restaurants open and stuff like that. There's no limitations. I mean, there are no social things happening. You can't be in social groups in public of larger than 4. All the bars are closed. But restaurants are still going, public transport is still functioning. Life is relatively normal. Some of the supermarkets are getting a little bit low on certain stocks, particularly of Western items. But life here is really not overly hard, as long as you adjust a certain amount and have a realistic outlook on life. But I just wanted to provide an update, let you know what's going on. I am thinking about all my friends around the world who are in sometimes much more difficult situations than I am at the moment. This is a horrible thing, but will we look back and see the good in it? I think you have to look at some positives. I do think that that the world was getting too small. Travel was getting too easy, too cheap, and it was having a negative effect on the world we live in. I think consumerism was a serious problem, and I think a lot of people have taken a sideways look at that and thought, okay, maybe this wasn't the way to go. So maybe there will be some positives out of it. Obviously, now the way that it's happened, the world facing this horrible virus has been a really shocking and unpleasant way for it to come about. But it makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to be posting my regular video series. Will come back next Friday. This Friday, I've scheduled a video for Good Friday, and then a follow-up for Easter Sunday, which may or may not be your thing. And then there are also the worship videos that are going to be published every couple of days. I will publish one without fanfare. I won't share them much or anything like that. They're not monetized. It's just you might find them helpful. Who knows? Take care, guys. Speak soon.